Ah, Venice, the city of water, gondolas, Aperol spritz, and meowing seagulls. Now, of course, most of those are true, but the meowing seagulls thing can be probably a lot less frequent. However, that does not change the beauty and serenity that Venice has to offer to everyone. Hi, I'm Trevor from Quest with Trev and Lex, and today we will be discussing the best things to do while visiting Venice. Starting with number 6 is aperitivo. Lexi and I absolutely loved aperitivo time. Now, we rate aperitivo time so highly because it is one of the most relaxing things you can do. Another really fun thing during aperitivo time is just taking all the hustle and bustle of the city as well as chilling by the canals. And of course, I would highly recommend doing this during the day. But one of the more fun experiences that Lexi and I had was about 6 o'clock at night, the sun's starting to go down, and then just enjoying the ambiance that the city has to offer. Moving to number 5 is the Libreria Acqua Alta. One of Lexi's favorite places that we went to after getting lost for a little bit of time. We're currently trying to find the Libreria Acqua Alta, but without GPS we're finding that very difficult, so we'll keep you updated. It happens to be the self-proclaimed most beautiful bookstore in the world. You can stroll through this really cool library where you have gondolas sitting in the middle of the hallways, as well as the occasional cat that you may see here as well. Even as and don't come at me for this, a non-book fan, I still had a very good time here. Moving on to number 4 is the Campanile. This is in St. Mark's Square, which we will touch on here briefly. The Campanile sits high above the city, and we highly recommend going to the top of the Campanile to get an absolutely stunning view of Venice and the surrounding islands. However, be careful going at the end of the hour and the start of a new hour because the bells at the top of the Campanile are incredibly loud. So if you do go up at that time, maybe bring some earmuffs or something to clog out the noise because it does get quite loud. Just another recommendation regarding the Campanile is we highly recommend visiting near sunset. It is absolutely stunning to go up there. We try to go as near as we could to sunset. Sometimes it can be kind of hard to time, but it was 100% worth it. Another really cool piece of history regarding the Campanile is this is where Galileo first used his telescope and showed it to the Doge, and the rest is history. Number 3 on our list is going to be go on a gondola ride. Now this also has a 2-part to it because the bridges are also something that you have to see. Now I mention the bridges because all of them are so elegantly designed and no one is the same compared to the other. And if you simply walk around Venice for about 15 minutes, you will run into so many amazing bridges and they are all gorgeous. Now of course a gondola ride was always going to be on the list here, but it's on the list and on everyone else's list for a good reason. It is arguably the best way to see Venice if you are okay with spending a pretty penny to go around. However, in our humble opinion, it was well worth the 100 euros to go through the canals for about 45 minutes. The nice thing about the gondolas is if you don't want to spend that much and you still want to experience it, you can buy cheaper tickets. They will just not be nearly as long and you won't see all the main sights. We started our tour near St. Mark's Square, and then we passed underneath the Bridge of Sighs, which legend has it, you must kiss under the Bridge of Sighs, and it continued on through the rest of the canal. However, we did not visit the Grand Canal as that would have costed us another 50 euros. However, like I said, it is such a cool experience. The gondoliers are so good at what they do, and they can give you the history of the city, why certain things are the way that they are, all the important landmarks that you may pass through. Our gondolier even took us by Marco Polo's house, which is also a really cool thing to see as well. On to number 2 on my list would be St. Mark's Square and Basilica. Now I've seen a lot of really cool squares during the amount of time that I've traveled, but I'll be honest, I think St. Mark's Square might be number one on my list. Lexi and I went to the square multiple times during our 3 days there. However, I think the best time to visit is early in the morning. 8 a.m. at Piazza San Marco, and there is hardly anybody here. Now, it's kind of hard to pinpoint what makes this square my favorite, but I think ultimately it comes down to just the overall architecture around the whole square. You have little coffee shops sitting on each side, little restaurants sitting on each side. There is a sheltered area to kind of walk under, so you don't have to be out into the actual square if you don't want to be. And also, the structure of St. Mark's Basilica is unlike any other basilica I've ever seen. It's very, very unique. Almost as unique as La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. The basilica, which takes into influences of Byzantine and Gothic times, is absolutely gorgeous with its gold decorations and gold plates all over the place. An important aspect to visiting the basilica is either go very early, about an hour before opening to get in line, but of course, as recommended earlier, buy your tickets ahead of time and you can skip the lines that will form. As you can see here, the line goes on forever. Lexi and I waited for an hour beforehand. We forgot to buy the tickets ahead of time. And I am so glad we waited just for that hour, because these people were going to be in line for a lot longer than we were, as this line stretched all the way past Doge's Palace. Moving on to number one on our list is to simply get lost, which is a very easy thing to do in Venice, as the streets are not very well designed. And funny enough for us, we got lost actually quite quick. As soon as we stepped off the train, we made our way over towards where we thought was our hotel and immediately got lost. On my phone, I took a picture of where the map should take us and where the hotel was supposed to be, and it took us to an area that was probably a quarter mile away and was under construction. But I think, as frustrating at times as it can be, you have to go into those situations with an open mind, because if you allow yourself to kind of get lost more, you get to see so many gorgeous things and different types of architecture, and each aspect of Venice almost feels like a new suburb in a way. Like I said though, please just be smart, be kind to each other as you go throughout the city and you do get lost, because sticking to the main strips of road throughout Venice can be a bit overwhelming at times too, so that's why we recommend getting off of the main hubs and going into the different types of narrow alleyways and getting lost within those. And so there you have it. There is our list of the top 6 things to do while you are in Venice. The other things that we didn't mention in our video that we highly recommend that you do is, of course, visit Rialto Bridge, stroll through Grand Canal, visit Doge's Palace. But this is our top 6 things that we feel are an absolute must for you to do on your trip to Venice. I hope this list helped you guys, and I hope you have an absolute wonderful time while you are in Venice. It is the most gorgeous place in the world.